and Cooper's career was ended due to injury. Arch Manning's career is going to be ended due to being shitty. Or should I say Pitt, bitch? Y'all ain't doing nothing. Pitt's been irrelevant since Kenny Pickett left in 2021. Yeah! Well, you want to know what Clemson is? Not shit. I am over Colorado's shit. Over. That's one of the biggest things as a fan base that we always say. You don't lose to Vanderbilt. As they fucking should be, dead last, because you fucking suck and you're dog shit. Okay? Good. Did you miss me? Yeah, you did. Just admit it. No, you don't have to. I'm just playing. I wouldn't want to miss me neither. Anyway, here's my face again. It's been a while, about a month or so now. But I want to try making more videos for you guys, like I stated on the WWE video yesterday. And today we're going to break down some NASCAR for 2026. And it's been a pretty shitty start, to say the least. So, before I jump into what's happened this season, I want to talk about a lawsuit that occurred within the NASCAR community in regards to two teams specifically. But we're going to really point out 2311 Racing. So I'm getting this off the internet, so do with that with what you will. But on December 11th, 2025, 2311, co-owned by Michael Jordan and Front Row Motorsports, settled their antitrust lawsuit against NASCAR, ending 14 months of continuous shit here. This is a lot to break down. The settlement reached during a federal trial in Charlotte secures evergreen permanent charters for the teams, providing greater revenue sharing and a voice in governance. Key details. Lawsuit origin. Filed in October of 2024, 2311 and Front Row alleged NASCAR and CEO Jim France engaged in anti-competitive practices to create a monopoly, specifically objecting to the 2025 charter agreement terms. Settlement outcome. The settlement allows all 15 charter holding teams, including 2311 and Front Row, to operate under permanent rather than temporary charters. Okay, so they're allowed to keep their charters, basically. Legal representation. The teams were represented by noted antitrust attorney Jeffrey Kessler. Impact on 2025-2026. While initially denied a preliminary injunction for the 2025 season, the teams continue to compete as chartered entries following the legal maneuvering. The settlement aims to provide long-term stability and growth for all teams. The settlement was reached during the second week of the trial, just before NASCAR was to begin its defense, resulting in a joyous atmosphere in the courtroom as both sides agreed to move forward. So, give me 1 second. So basically, what this tells me, give me 1 second. Scrappy's going to drink the water and give her your beautiful input on her end real quick. Alright. So, let's get something straight here. Basically, 2311 and Front Row had allegations towards NASCAR saying that the sanctioning body holds exclusive anti-competitive control over premier stock car racing by owning most venues, controlling team charters, and restricting participation in rival series. That's what it says. Anyway, back to the 2311 Front Row thing. So, I'm just reading. Alright. It said the settlement also included 2/3 of teams needing to get the okay renewal of charters. If they don't sign a renewal, they are still chartered and get a year or possibly more to settle or sell the charter. If they don't meet certain performance standards, they must sell but get time to sell. NASCAR gets 10% of the sell. It was 2% previously. It says on December 11th, 2025, both parties settled. The settlement included both 2311 and Front Row receiving their 6 charters back and compensation for lost income from the previous races that were uncharted. Charters for all teams will be permanent, as I stated earlier. There will be a return of the 3-strike rule, which allows teams to vote against NASCAR with 3 proposals that would cost them money, and this has been increased to 5. Teams will now see revenue from NASCAR's international media rights deal, which is changed to an unknown amount. Teams will be paid 1/3 of any new NASCAR deals that involve teams' intellectual property usage, and NASCAR will also pay 2311 Racing and Front Row Motorsports an unknown of monetary damages. So, basically, my whole point with this is that 2311 and Front Row allegedly said that NASCAR under the France family operated as an illegal monopoly. They won the case against NASCAR. And I just find it very suspicious that 2311, this season, we're about to discuss what this season's been so far. I just find it very suspicious that 2311, a team who could barely get a top 15 on most days, Reddick has been decent in the 45, but a team that could barely get top 15s, all of a sudden is the masterclass of the field after this lawsuit was settled and they won. And Front Row Motorsports all of a sudden is dominating the Truck Series. And even more so in the Cup Series, their point standings outside of Todd Gilliland are way higher than normal. I know we're only 3 races in, but my whole point in kind of bringing this up and discussing this is it looks very suspicious on NASCAR's part and the team's part that now that the teams won this lawsuit, all of a sudden they're the cream of the crop and they're dominating the sport. Clearly there's some sort of illegal action going on amongst those teams, and clearly nobody can do a damn thing about it because they won the lawsuit. I personally think 2311 and Front Row are both cheating. And it's hard to deny that. Tyler Reddick, we're going to talk about it, but Tyler Reddick won the Daytona 500. Okay. Then he wins Atlanta. This is a guy who barely finished speedway races half the time. Prior to that, I think he only had 1 super speedway win at Talladega. He wins back-to-back. Then he is a good road racer, so I'll give him that. Then he wins COTA. He's the first driver in history to win 3 races in a row, but it's the first 3 races of the season in a row. He's the first driver to win first 3 of the year. Nobody's ever won the first 3 races in a season. There have been drivers to win 3, 4 in a row, but not the first 3 of the season. I mean, I'm talking people like Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt Sr., Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Darrell Waltrip, Kel Yarborough, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Tony Stewart, Carl Edwards. You know, the cream of the crop in NASCAR have never done what Reddick did this season. Nobody's ever done that. So, I'm sorry, but a pretty new team like 2311 comes out and they do what they've done this year. Bubba Wallace gets a top 10. No, I'm sorry. He finished 11th at COTA. Basically finished right outside the top 10 at COTA. Bubba Wallace has never been known to do good at all on road courses, ever. Now, I'm not saying you can't have good finishes now and then, but look at the point standings so far in the Cup Series this year. Tyler Reddick's first, Bubba Wallace is second. They're 1-2 in 3 races so far this year. Riley Herbst hasn't done all that well, but he's done better than people have thought. So that's the suspicious part with that. Don't you just find it kind of odd that after that whole lawsuit kind of settled down, all of a sudden 2311 is apparently the best team in the garage? And it's the same for the Truck Series with Front Row. Now, I know it was more so a Cup Series deal, but it's still the same organization. And Chandler Smith for Front Row won Daytona, and then Kyle Busch won Atlanta, but he's won, I think that's his 9th Atlanta win in the Truck Series. So Busch winning in Atlanta is not very surprising. And then Lane Riggs won at St. Petersburg this last weekend. So he also races for Front Row. So that's 2 wins for Front Row in the first 3 races. And, Kyle Busch, like I said, that's a given. So nobody's surprised by that. But so regular-wise, race regulars, series regulars of the Truck Series, Front Row Motorsports is the only team that's won so far. 2311 in the Cup Series is the only team to win so far. If you look at this is very fucking suspicious if you ask me. Now, I'm probably just throwing out conspiracies here. I probably sound like a dumbass idiot that doesn't know what he's talking about. But I just think it's very, very odd how, this whole lawsuit thing went down for, a little over a year, and then it finally got settled, and all of a sudden, 23 in Front Row are the cream of crop in NASCAR. That's just annoying. It's almost enough to make me stop watching for a while. Now, does anybody care if I stop watching NASCAR? No. Is NASCAR going to be hurt by that? No. But I just don't want to watch something that feels like it's almost scripted at this point. Now, I'm a big WWE guy, but the whole point of that is for it to be scripted. NASCAR's supposed to be the real deal, right? It hasn't seemed like that so far. Now, I can say the O'Reilly series is off to a decent start. Everybody knows RCR's cracked on the speedways. Austin Hill won Daytona. Nobody's surprised by that. And then Sheldon Creed got his first win in the O'Reilly series at Atlanta. I thought that was a very good win. And then Shane Van Gisbergen won at COTA. He's the road course ace, which, by the way, Tyler Reddick held off in dominant fashion to win at COTA. He held off SVG. That's SVG's first road course loss in the last 5 or 6 races. So it just looks very odd. But the O'Reilly series so far has been kind of what you would expect. Atlanta, we got a new first-time winner. Atlanta, almost anybody can win. I figured it was going to be an RCR car, but Creed is a proven winner. He's a proven champion in the Truck Series. So him winning's not really that much of a surprise to me. Daytona, Austin Hill, he owns that track now. Apparently, they should just call it Austin Hill International Speedway at this point. And then Gizzy on a road course in the Xfinity Series. Of course, he's going to win. So O'Reilly, there's nothing odd about it. But the Truck and Cup Series, dude, something's got to give. This is ridiculous. But I'm going to quit rambling about that now. Let's go ahead and kind of discuss what's actually gone down this season. We're going to start with the Truck Series. So, they've done 3 races so far: Daytona, Atlanta, and St. Petersburg. Chandler Smith ended up winning at Daytona. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Key names that ran at the Daytona truck race: Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Cletus McFarlane, Cletus Mitchell on the NASCAR app. That's funny. Michael McDowell. Who else ran? Notable names here: Tony Stewart, Tony Breininger, Travis Pastrana, John Hunter Nemechek, Corey LaJoie, Carson Hocevar, Clay Greenfield made a start, didn't do too bad. So those are notable names that ran in the race. Caden Honeycutt was fastest in practice. Ty Majeski won the pole. Your Stage 1 winner was Carson Hocevar. Your Stage 2 winner was Chandler Smith. And look at that, Lane Riggs was second. So Front Row Motorsports got 1-2 in Stage 2. And then in the race, Chandler Smith was victorious. So that'll conclude that for Daytona. Then we go to Atlanta in the Truck Series. Notable names that ran this race: Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Corey Heim, Adam Andretti in the number 5 for Tricon. Kyle Busch, as we mentioned, won this race. What else do we have here? Notable names. Ty Dillon ran the 25 truck. It's cool to see Ram in the NASCAR world again, though, so welcome back, Ram. They only have a truck team right now, though, so hopefully we can see them expand soon. Who else ran in this race? John Hunter Nemechek ran again. Hocevar ran again. And those are the biggest names there. Jake Garcia would win the poles. That's 2 poles for ThorSport there. Stage 1 winner was Corey Heim. To nobody's surprise, Corey Heim was the truck champion last year with 12 wins for Tricon. He doesn't have a full-time ride this year, though, which I find very odd. Stage 2 went to Stuart Friesen, and then second in that stage was Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That stage kind of, gave me the sucky a little bit because, those are 2 of my drivers. And then the race winner ended up being Kyle Busch, with Hocevar finishing second. Spires actually looked pretty good this year, so that's pretty cool. And then St. Petersburg, notable names here. Dario Franchitti, the crew chief with Jimmy Johnson for that truck. Ben Meyer, Adam Andretti again, Connor Mosack ran in this race. Colin Braun. Who else? Landon Lewis, Wesley Slimp, James Hinchcliffe. Those are some notable names. They're all, former road racers, and they all had experience at St. Petersburg. Fastest in practice was Caden Honeycutt. Ben Meyer actually got second in that one. And then qualifying, Connor Mosack won the pole. He had a fast truck, but he just kind of fell off at the end. Stage 1 winner was Ben Rhodes. Mosack finished second, Landon Lewis third, and then Stage 2 went to Lane Riggs. Chandler Smith got second. And then in the race, Lane Riggs wins. And then Chandler Smith got fourth. So, overall in the Truck Series, it hasn't been as bad as the Cup Series when it comes to looking scripted and rigged. But clearly Front Row's still been the dominant team so far. So, now, luckily, it's not the old format where, you win and you're in, so there's still some interest there. But let's take a look at the Truck Series standings. So we'll do the top 10 in points. First in points, Chandler Smith. Second in points, Ben Rhodes. Third in points, Ty Majeski. Fourth, Gio Ruggiero. Fifth, Lane Riggs. Sixth, Caden Honeycutt. Seventh, Andres Perez. Eighth, Stuart Friesen. Ninth, Christian Eckes. 10th, Justin Haley. So there's that for the Truck Series. Now let's go over to O'Reilly. I already discussed all the winners, but we're still going to break it down for you. Fastest, actually we'll do notable names that were in this race. So notable names that raced at Daytona in the O'Reilly Series. Luke Fenhouse in the 5. Gio raced in the 19. Carson Ware raced in the 30. Jordan Anderson raced in the 32 for his own team. Natalie Decker was in the 35. Carson Hocevar raced the 42. LeVar Scott's now full-time. Daniel Dye raced the 52 for AM Racing. Raj Caruth is now in Xfinity. Fastest in practice was Jeb Burton. Pole sitter was Austin Hill with his teammate Jesse Love second. Nobody's surprised RCR was fastest. Stage 1 winner was Austin Hill. Second was Jesse Love. Stage 2 winner was Austin Hill. Nobody's fucking surprised. And the race winner was Austin Hill. So Austin Hill literally owns Daytona as a point-blank period. Now, do I think the RCR Super Speedway package in Xfinity or O'Reilly or whatever the hell you want to call it should be investigated? Probably. But there's not a whole lot of evidence suggesting as such. Sheldon Creed won Atlanta. Notable names that ran in this race. Luke Fenhouse was in the 5 again. Gio ran in the 19 again. Cody Ware ran the 30 this time. Ross Chastain was in the 32. And I think that's pretty much it there. Qualifying, Sam Mayer won the pole. Stage 1 winner was Jesse Love. Stage 2 winner was Rajah Caruth. That's pretty cool. And the race winner was Sheldon Creed. And then finally, COTA. Entry list, notable names that ran this race: Connor Zilich in the 1, Tyler Gonzalez in the 5, Shane Van Gisbergen in the 9, Brent Cruz in the 19, his first career start. Whoever the hell that is in the 30, I can't even pronounce that name. Ross Chastain ran the 32 again. JJ Yaley ran the 42. Preston Pardus ran the 50. Sage Karam in the 55. Fuck off, you fucking bitch. So, yeah. And then qualifying, Connor Zilich and SVG got first and second. Nobody surprised. Stage 1 winner was Austin Hill. Stage 2 winner was Sam Mayer. And then the race winner was Shane Van Gisbergen, with Austin Hill finishing second. So that'll recap that. And then point standings, the top 10 in O'Reilly Series: Austin Hill's first, Jesse Love second, Justin Allgaier third, Sheldon Creed fourth, Carson Quaffle fifth, Rajah Caruth sixth, Sammy Smith seventh, Corey Day eighth, Parker Retzlaff ninth, Sam Mayer 10th. So, honestly, logically, we should probably be saying that RCR should be investigated like a hell of a son of a bitch too, but nah, they weren't a part of that, so I'm not going to say that. And finally, the Cup Series. There's not much to say in the Cup Series. I'm not even going to break it down. Fuck that shit. Not even going to break it down. Tyler Reddick has won the first 3 races of the season. 23-11 is the top 2 in the points. And that's pretty much all you need to know. Tyler Reddick, Tyler Reddick, Tyler Reddick, Tyler Reddick, Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick. He's the only person that's done anything this season. And that's where we're just going to leave that. There's no reason to talk about the races, and we're not going to. So, Tyler Reddick's Daytona 500 champion. He's your Atlanta winner, and he's your COTA winner. Now, we had the Phoenix this weekend. The trucks are off. They don't race. They race again in Darlington in about a month. Xfinity, well, O'Reilly. I got to get used to saying O'Reilly. To me, it's going to be Xfinity. But O'Reilly and Cup races at Phoenix this weekend. You think Tyler Reddick goes 4 in a row, makes even more history? Probably with our luck. O'Reilly will be interesting. I don't really know who's going to win that. I think the bag's up. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, the entry list for Phoenix. Let me look. We can discuss that real quick, and then we'll wrap things up here. Entry list for Phoenix for O'Reilly. Notable guys racing this race. Chandler Smith's in the 5. Brent Cruz is running the 19 again. Rajah Caruth's going to be in the 32. Rajah's running the full schedule. He's running a few races in the 32, and then I think 23 races in the 88. So he's running the majority in the 88 car. Daniel Dye's back in the 52. Joey Gase will be in the 55. William Byron's going to be in the 88. So there's your winner right there probably for O'Reilly. And then the Cup Series, any notable names here? Austin Hill's running the 33 car, and I think that's the only part-timer. I think everything else looks pretty normal. So, yeah. That's NASCAR so far. Sorry I didn't make a video sooner. It's just been a frustrating ass season. I discussed on last night's video that I've had a lot going on, but that will conclude the NASCAR video so far for the season anyway. It's pretty much all I got. I'll do a little recap here. I think 23-11 and front row are cheating. That's just my personal opinion. It's cool to see Sheldon Creed get his first career win. Maybe there's more to come. My drivers have done not shit this season, so that's fun. My Cup Series drivers are Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Ricky Stenhouse, and Alex Bowman. None of them have really done anything this year. Elliott did win a duel, but who cares? My Xfinity Series, or Rally Series, whatever the hell you want to call it, driver is Ryan Sieg. Nothing really this season. He did get third at Daytona. And then my Truck Series drivers are Stuart Friesen and Dawson Sutton. Friesen, he's had a decent start to the year. Sutton's had a little rough go at it, but all in all, it's all right. But anyway, that'll end things off here. I got to head somewhere, so I'm going to end this here. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It wasn't exactly the greatest of videos, but hey, I'm making content for you guys again. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.